each other to the edge in speed, engineering, and dominance. But now, something's changed. After months of calculated silence, Koenigsegg CEO has finally spoken out. And what he said isn't just bold, it's brutal. When Bugatti did this 300+, it was a rough prototype that is modified, and the real version is much slower. This isn't a PR statement. This isn't a friendly nod. This is a direct shot. A warning. A line in the sand. Whatever you thought about the rivalry before, forget it. This just got personal. The spark that reignited the rivalry came in June 2024 when the hypercar world was set ablaze as Bugatti unveiled its latest masterpiece, the Tourbillon. This new model, succeeding the Chiron, marked a significant departure from Bugatti's previous engineering philosophies. Instead of the renowned quad-turbocharged W16, the Tourbillon boasts a naturally aspirated 8.3-litre V16 engine developed in collaboration with Cosworth. This engine alone delivers exactly 1,000 horsepower and revs up to an impressive 9,000 RPM. Complementing this powerhouse is a trio of electric motors, 2 at the front and 1 at the rear, collectively producing an additional 800 horsepower. The combined output stands at a staggering 1,800 horsepower, propelling the Tourbillon from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2 seconds and achieving a top speed of 276 miles per hour with the use of a speed key. The Tourbillon's design is as revolutionary as its powertrain. Drawing inspiration from mechanical watches, the interior features a fully analog center console operated by mechanical gears and an instrument cluster designed to resemble a watch movement. The steering wheel has a fixed central hub, ensuring the instrument cluster remains visible at all times. Materials like machined aluminum, crystal glass, and titanium, crafted by Swiss watchmaker Jacob and Company, underscore the vehicle's luxury and attention to detail. Upon its unveiling, the Tourbillon was immediately positioned as a direct competitor to Koenigsegg's Jesko Absolut. While the Jesko Absolut had been lauded for its potential to break speed records, the Tourbillon specifications suggested it could not only match but possibly surpass Koenigsegg's achievements. Media outlets and automotive enthusiasts began drawing comparisons, analyzing performance metrics, and speculating on which manufacturer would ultimately claim the hypercar crown. Koenigsegg, known for its innovative engineering and record-breaking vehicles, remained conspicuously silent in the wake of the Tourbillon's debut. There were no immediate press releases, interviews, or social media posts addressing Bugatti's latest creation. This lack of response led to widespread speculation. Some wondered if Koenigsegg was developing a new model in secret, while others questioned whether the Swedish manufacturer could keep pace with Bugatti's advancements. Needless to say, the automotive community buzzed with anticipation. Forums, blogs, and social media platforms were rife with discussions about the potential implications of the Tourbillon's release. Would Koenigsegg rise to the challenge, or was this the beginning of Bugatti's unchallenged dominance in the hypercar segment? But behind the scenes, Koenigsegg wasn't just watching Bugatti's moves, they were preparing to respond. And when they did, it was bad news. And when you really think about it, it all might have actually started even a bit earlier. The record breakers pushed things too far in May 2023. The hypercar world witnessed a seismic shift when Rimac Automobile's all-electric Nevera shattered expectations by setting 23 performance records in a single day. These included a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 1.74 seconds and a 0 to 250 miles per hour time of 29.93 seconds, surpassing Koenigsegg's reg era. The Nevera's record-breaking feats were achieved at the Automotive Testing Papenburg (ATP) facility in Germany, utilizing its 2.4-mile straights. The records were independently verified by Dusoft and Race Logic, ensuring the legitimacy of the accomplishments. Notably, the Nevera outperformed its own official specifications, recording a 0 to 60 time of 1.74 seconds compared to the previously claimed 1.85 seconds. Better yet, all acceleration records were completed with a standard 1-foot rollout and equipped with road-legal Michelin Cup 2R tires on non-prepped asphalt. Among the 23 records set, the 0 to 249 miles per hour benchmark stood out as a significant achievement. The Nevera completed this test in 29.93 seconds, surpassing the previous record held by Koenigsegg's reg era, which had achieved the feat in 31.49 seconds back in 2019. This is where things got juicy. The Nevera's performance was not only a testament to its engineering but also a statement in the hypercar arena. With its advanced battery system, powertrain, and software, all developed in-house, the Nevera showcased the potential of electric hypercars. Its 4 individual motors, controlled by a sophisticated torque vectoring system, allowed for precise power delivery and handling. Media outlets worldwide covered the Nevra's achievements extensively. Top Gear highlighted the Nevra's time, emphasizing its 1.5-second advantage over the Reg era. The article noted that both times were really very fast but acknowledged the significance of the Nevra's accomplishment. The public's perception of Koenigsegg began to shift. Once considered the pinnacle of hypercar performance, Koenigsegg now faced a formidable challenger in Rimac. Discussions emerged questioning whether Koenigsegg could maintain its dominance in the face of Rimac's technological advancements. However, Koenigsegg was not one to be outdone. In June 2023, just a month after the Nevra's record-setting day, Koenigsegg reclaimed the record. The Reg era achieved a time of 28.81 seconds. This new record was set at Arlanda Airport in Sweden, utilizing a smoother track and new Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires. Christian von Koenigsegg, the company's founder, expressed pride in the Regera's enduring capabilities. He emphasized that the Regera's performance, even years after its initial release, was an emblem of its advanced engineering and timeless design. And so, the rivalry between Rimac and Koenigsegg intensified, capturing the attention of automotive enthusiasts and industry experts alike. The rapid exchange of records highlighted the competitive nature of the hypercar segment and the relentless pursuit of performance excellence. As the competition between electric and hybrid hypercars escalated, the industry watched closely. The Nevra's achievements demonstrated the potential of electric vehicles, while Koenigsegg's response showcased the enduring capabilities of hybrid technology. The quiet rivalry had evolved into a full-blown contest of engineering prowess, with each manufacturer pushing the other to new heights. As the records continued to fall, one thing became clear: the hypercar world was entering a new era, and the competition was far from over. Over the tech arms race, the silent shade emerged. As the battle between Bugatti and Koenigsegg escalated in 2024, the rivalry evolved beyond raw horsepower. It became a clash of philosophies, one grounded in heritage and timeless design, the other in radical innovation and mechanical reinvention. In the middle of it all, subtle shots were fired, and even silence had weight. When Bugatti unveiled the Tourbillon, it wasn't just a new hypercar, it was a manifesto. Ditching the quad-turbo W16 that had defined the Veyron and Chiron eras, Bugatti introduced a naturally aspirated 8.3 LV16 developed in partnership with Cosworth. As we've mentioned, it made 1,000 horsepower on its own, but with the addition of 3 electric motors, the Tourbillon pushed a combined 1,800 horsepower. No turbos. No forced induction. No gimmicks. That was the message. This was performance delivered through mechanical purity and clean hybrid integration. And the industry noticed. Bugatti emphasized that the Tourbillon was timeless. The interior was filled with mechanical watch-inspired elements, like a fully analog instrument cluster that sat inside the spokes of a fixed-hub steering wheel. The central console used gears and cogs instead of screens. There were no giant touch interfaces. It was deliberate, elegant, and pointed. And that's where the silent shade began. During the media rollout, Bugatti executives, particularly design chief Frank Hale and Rimac CEO Mate Rimac, began making statements that didn't mention competitors by name but didn't need to. Frank described the Tourbillon's interior as resistant to the aging of tech, even adding that simplicity is sophistication. Rimac, in a separate interview, called the car free of unnecessary complexity. Neither needed to say Koenigsegg. The inference was loud and clear. Because if one brand represents mechanical complexity in the hypercar world, it's Koenigsegg. The company's entire ethos is built on audacious, envelope-pushing tech. Their free-valve system, an engine with no camshafts using pneumatic and electronic actuators to independently control each valve, is among the most talked-about automotive engineering feats of the past decade. It offers insane flexibility, cylinder deactivation on demand, tailored combustion cycles, even the ability to switch between 2-stroke and 4-stroke modes. On paper, it's genius. But to traditionalists, it's borderline over-engineered. Then there's the light-speed transmission, or LST, which is basically Koenigsegg's in-house gearbox that bypasses the traditional shift pattern entirely by pre-selecting gears and snapping to them instantly. It doesn't use a flywheel or a torque converter. It's revolutionary, but again, complex. That's why Bugatti's push for mechanical purity in the Tourbillon wasn't just a stylistic choice. It was strategic positioning. While Koenigsegg was doubling down on bleeding-edge systems like camless engines, torque-vectoring hybrids, and ultra-complicated drivetrains, Bugatti was presenting a cleaner, more classic approach to performance. Their message was simple: less is more, and more timeless. Industry analysts quickly picked up on the tension. Commentators on auto podcasts began framing the tourbillon as a rebuke to the complexity arms race. Yet through mid and late 2024, Koenigsegg's social channels remained relatively quiet. There was no public comment from Christian von Koenigsegg himself about the tourbillon. No interviews. No press releases. Not even a tweet. This silence was unusual. Historically, Christian has been deeply engaged with the media, always explaining tech, breaking down concepts, and defending innovation. His long-form videos about FreeValve, Jesko's hybrid setup, and the light-speed transmission have millions of views. He's not just the CEO, he's the public face of the brand. So when Bugatti started drawing all the attention with its simpler is better message and Koenigsegg didn't clap back, people noticed. Automotive forums began asking, is Koenigsegg falling behind? Is the complexity becoming a liability? But of course, the answer wasn't that simple. Internally, Koenigsegg has always believed that innovation isn't optional. It's the brand. For Christian, the goal was never to just go fast, it was to reinvent how cars go fast. He's called the FreeValve system the future of internal combustion. He described Koenigsegg's tech stack as a modular platform, one that can be adapted across combustion, hybrid, or fully electric setups. To him, the complexity wasn't the point. It was the results. But in a world where public perception can shift quickly, Bugatti's narrative was landing. For some, the tourbillon felt like the beginning of a new era, one where innovation would be measured not just by novelty, but by clarity, design integrity, and mechanical elegance. The irony? Koenigsegg's own cars were arguably more advanced. The Jesko, with its hybrid TFG engine and innovative torque vectoring AWD setup, offered true four-seat hypercar performance. The Jesko Absolute was designed to be the fastest production car ever built. But without recent public runs or flashy unveilings, the buzz was starting to favor Bugatti. The quiet wasn't just a PR risk, it was beginning to feel like a strategic vacuum. That's when whispers began to circulate in enthusiastic circles. Some claimed that Koenigsegg was preparing a response, perhaps a speed run for the Jesko Absolute. Others theorized about a fully electric Koenigsegg, the ultimate evolution of their hybrid systems. Still others believed Christian was simply letting the dust settle, biding his time for a statement that would reframe the entire conversation. And maybe they were right. Because if Bugatti thought Koenigsegg would stay quiet forever, they were mistaken. By the first quarter of 2025, Koenigsegg's absence from the front lines of the hypercar arms race had shifted from intriguing to unnerving. What had once been interpreted as strategic focus was now fueling whispers of internal pressure. A battle brewing, not on public roads or test tracks, but behind closed doors in Ängelholm, Sweden. As Bugatti Rimac surged into the spotlight with their record-smashing Nevera and the opulent V16-powered tourbillon, Koenigsegg's long silence began to feel loud. But those watching closely knew something was stirring. In early January 2025, reports from European automotive circles suggested that not everything was calm within Koenigsegg's headquarters. Several sources hinted that senior figures in Koenigsegg were pushing for more aggressive action. The sentiment echoed across a few trusted forums. Koenigsegg wasn't just feeling competitive pressure from Rimac and Bugatti, they were facing internal tension over how to respond. Historically, Christian von Koenigsegg had been the face of innovation. His charisma and obsession with precision engineering had made Koenigsegg a cult icon, a brand that stood apart from giants like Bugatti not through size, but through technological audacity. But as of April 2025, he had remained publicly silent since the tourbillon's unveiling. The silence began to fracture when small leaks of information started to drip. A known parts supplier based in Germany reportedly mentioned that Koenigsegg had made a significant order for a bespoke compound of Michelin tires similar to those used by Rimac during its 23 record day in 2023. This added weight to the theory that Koenigsegg was preparing for its long-promised top-speed run. Yet while Koenigsegg has always marched to its own tempo, there's no ignoring the tempo being set by the competition. Rimac's Nevera, with its all-electric drivetrain, didn't just beat records, it redefined the hypercar performance ceiling. Then came the Bugatti Tourbillon, a hybrid juggernaut that drew headlines for both simplicity and power. That put the Jesko Absolute in an awkward position. When it was first announced in 2020, the Jesko Absolute was introduced as the world's fastest car. On paper, it was designed to exceed 330 miles per hour, engineered with minimal drag and maximum stability. But now, 5 years later, there still hadn't been an official top-speed run. And no matter how meticulously engineered it was, the lack of public performance data was starting to feel like a vulnerability. Reports suggested that some in Koenigsegg's leadership believed they had waited too long. Others maintained that patience was a strategic advantage, that when Koenigsegg finally spoke, it would reset the narrative. But the pressure was undeniable. The automotive world doesn't sit still, and for every week without a new Jesko Absolut test or tech showcase, the spotlight tilted a little more toward Molsheim and Zagreb. By late April 2025, the silence finally broke. In a video posted to Koenigsegg's official YouTube channel and Instagram accounts, Christian von Koenigsegg addressed the community directly. Sitting in a quiet corner of the Angel Home facility, flanked by a Jesko Absolut prototype and a stripped-down free-valve engine, he delivered a calm, precise, but unmistakably sharp message. When Bugatti did this 300+, he said, referring to Bugatti's 304.77 mph run with the Chiron Supersport 300+, it was a rough prototype that is modified, and the real version is much slower. His tone was measured, but the meaning was direct. This wasn't just a clarification, it was a challenge. Christian was reminding the world that Koenigsegg doesn't play with modified prototypes. Their numbers are achieved with full production cars delivered to customers exactly as they were tested. This distinction cut deep in an industry where record runs often require tailor-made conditions and hand-built exceptions. Christian didn't stop there. He spoke about the Jesko Absolut's theoretical top speed, reiterating that it was designed, simulated, and wind tunnel tested to exceed 330 mph. We have no drag-producing wings, a perfectly balanced underbody, and enough power to overcome air resistance that no other car in production has. He nodded toward the free-valve engine beside him. We're not just adding more horsepower, we're creating engines that are more responsive, more efficient, and more adaptable than any others in the world. He then pivoted, gracefully, but assertively, to Bugatti's design philosophy. I admire simplicity, he said, but simplicity without performance is just nostalgia. It was a line that instantly ricocheted across the car enthusiast world. Forums lit up. Reddit threads exploded. YouTubers dissected every frame of the video. Christian's statement was interpreted as a direct counter to Bugatti's Tourbillon campaign, especially Frank Hale's repeated references to timeless analog experiences and freeing the cabin of complexity. In one sentence, Christian reframed the debate. Koenigsegg wasn't complex for the sake of novelty, it was complex because performance demanded it. Then, almost as an afterthought, he dropped the bombshell: this summer, the Jesko Absolut will run. We've waited for the perfect conditions, the right location, and the right team. And when it happens, it won't just break records, it will end this discussion. With that, the stage was set. Summer 2025 now loomed as the moment of truth. Koenigsegg's return wasn't just about reclaiming numbers, it was about reaffirming its identity. Unlike Rimac or Bugatti, Koenigsegg wasn't backed by a massive parent group or billion-dollar investment rounds. It was still a privately held company. Every vehicle, every part, every engine, even the carbon fiber we've used in the monocoque, was developed in-house. That independence had always been Koenigsegg's strength. But in a hypercar market increasingly dominated by conglomerates and cross-collaborations, it could also become its weakness, unless they delivered. Behind the scenes, preparations were already underway. Sources close to the company suggested that Koenigsegg had secured a private